Hello, students. Welcome. So, as per your request, here I am. I prepared a video on your favorite topic, pro rata allotment of shares. Hopefully, this will help you to revise for your term 1 examination, which is scheduled to be held in the month of November this year. Now, I know most of you are very comfy, very comfortable with the other topics of term 1 syllabus. But when it comes to pro rata, most of you just ignore it. Just you want to run away from it. Hopefully, after today's video, you will change your attitude towards this topic. But before that, I hope you are comfortable with the normal share issue sums, issue of shares, forfeiture, and reissue of shares. Chalo, बढ़िया. Then we can move ahead. I'll try to simplify as much as possible. So instead of taking you directly to a sum, I'll just take you to an example. Think of a shop selling mobile phones. And they have variety of phones, but before the pujas, before the festive season, they have come up with a very unique mobile phone. The price is also very nominal, only 10,000 rupees. Looking at the huge demand for the phones, they have kept a booking amount of 3,000 per phone. If you want it, pay 3,000 per phone, and balance 7,000 you pay on delivery. So you also got interested to buy this phone. Not only one, but 6 pieces for yourself as well as for your family members. How much do you have to pay right now to book the phones? 10,000 is the phone price, 3,000 booking amount. So 3,000 into 6, 18,000. Few days later, there was an announcement. The sellers, the shopkeeper told, sir, we cannot give you the number of phones you have asked for. We can only give in the ratio 2 for every 3 phones ordered. So how many phones will you get? See, this is pro rata. You ordered 3, they'll give you 2. If you ordered 6, which is in our case 6, they'll give you 4. So you will get only 4 phones, though you asked for 6 phones. You have already paid the booking amount for 6 phones, 18,000 rupees. But now you realize for 4 phones, the booking amount should have been only 12,000. I have paid them excess for the 2 phones which I did not receive or which I will not receive. I paid 6,000 excess. Please give me back my excess. The shopkeeper will tell, sir, please don't ask for the cash. What we'll do is you need to pay 7,000 balance on the 4 phones that will sell to you, which is 28,000. You just deduct 6,000 from there and you pay us the balance 22,000 rupees. So you are okay with that? But now I want you to think of this same calculation from a little different approach. Maybe from the shopkeeper's point of view. Try to place yourself in his shoes. What is the total amount that they have received from you? Rupees 18,000. And how many phones are they going to supply to you? 4 phones. So how much amount have they received on those 4 phones already? If you divide 18,000 by 4, you will see they have received rupees 4,500 per phone. Out of this 4,500, 3,000 is the booking amount. 1,500 will be adjusted from the 7,000. That means out of 10,000, they have already received 4,500. Now you just need to pay 5,500. Or you can say out of the 7,000, they have already received 1,500. You have to pay 5,500 now, 5,500 rupees, 4 phones, 22,000. Amount remains same. Let us look at it side by side. The same calculation, we'll look at it side by side. We'll first look at the calculation from purchaser point of view, and then we'll look at the same calculation from the seller's point of view. As a customer, you ordered 6 phones, you paid 3,000 for each phone, you paid 18,000 booking amount. But you will get only 4 phones, so 3,000 on the 4 phones is 12,000. Excess on the 2 phones that were never given to you, 3,000 each, rupees 6,000 is excess. What you do is, at the time of delivery, on those 4 phones, do not pay full amount 7,000, which is 28,000 in total. Do not pay 28,000. You subtract from there 6,000 and you pay total 22,000 as the balance amount. Think of it from the seller's point of view. The total amount they have received from you is rupees 18,000 unchanged. How many phones are they going to supply to you? 4 phones. So how much is the amount that they have already received on your 4 phones? They have already received 18,000 divided by 4, 4,500. So how much can they ask at the time of delivery? They can ask you only 5,500 on the 4 phones, which is still 22,000. How did we get 5,500? We subtracted 4,500 from 10,000. Chalo, if this is clear, then we can take an example and we can practice this on our own. Let's say a company has issued 10,000 shares of rupees 100 each. 30 will be paid on application, 40 on allotment, and 30 in call. But they have received applications for 18,000 shares, so there's oversubscription of shares. They decided to refund the application money on 3,000 shares, but still they are left with 15,000 shares, where they can issue only 10,000 shares. They decided to make a pro rata allotment. So think about it. The total application that they received was 18,000. They have rejected and refunded the application money on 3,000 shares. They are still left with the applications for 15,000 shares, but they can only go ahead with allotment as per the issue of 10,000 shares. So what is the ratio of applied and allotted? The shareholders who applied for 15,000 shares, they'll be allotted 10,000 shares. The ratio is 3:2. For every 3 shares applied, 2 shares will be allotted to you. Let us continue this question. Let's say there's a defaulter. Mr. X, who was allotted 400 shares, failed to pay allotment money. Let's say call money was not made due yet. So we remember that the applied is to allotted is 3:2. Anyone who got 2 shares had applied for more than 2 shares. What about Mr. X, who got 400 shares? How many shares did he apply for? He must have applied for 600 shares in the ratio of 3:2. So when he applied for 600 shares, he paid 30 rupees application money, total 18,000. But the company has allotted only 400 shares. So the amount which has been adjusted, 18,000 shares, 18,000 rupees, 400 shares, rupees 45 has been received. 30 will go towards application, 15 rupees will go towards allotment. So now think about allotment. At the time of allotment, the total amount receivable, initially it was 40 rupees. But now will Mr. X have to pay 40 rupees? No, he'll have to pay only 25 rupees because 15 rupees towards allotment he has already paid unknowingly at the time of application. 400 shares, 25 rupees is 10,000 rupees. If he makes a default, the default will be 10,000 rupees, which will be calls in arrear of Mr. X. And if you look at the journal entry, equity share capital account debit, 400 shares, 70 has been called up. We did not make the final call. 28,000 rupees has been called up. 2 calls in arrears account, the unpaid amount, or from company's point of view, the amount not received yet. On the 400 shares, 25 rupees is not received yet, which is 10,000. And 2, share forfeited account, the amount that is already received by the company, that is already paid by the shareholder on the 400 shares at the rate 45 each, which is 18,000 rupees. Now, some students, instead of opening calls in arrears account, you are comfortable writing to equity share allotment account. That is perfectly okay. Let us now look at a CBSE sample question paper. You can pause the video and you can just look at the question. So Anish Limited had issued a prospectus inviting 2,000 shares, but they received 3,000 shares applications. Pro rata allotment was made not on 3,000 but on 2,400 shares. Dhruv had allotted 40 shares, had been allotted 40 shares. How many shares had he applied for? So we'll first look at the ratio. Applied is to allotted. 2400 shares, not 3000 shares. Though total application received was 3600 must have been refunded. Applications which were accepted were 2400 shares. On 2400 shares, allotment was made on 2000 shares on a pro rata basis. The ratio of applied is to allotted. If you calculate, you will get the ratio as 6:5. That means anyone who applied for 6 shares will be allotted 5 shares. Dhruv, who was allotted 40 shares, he must have applied for more than 40 shares. So you can do 40 divided by 5 into 6. He had applied for 48 shares, which is option number C. If we look at the other question of CBSE, this is a big question. You would like to pause the video and just copy this down, where the company had allotted few shares on pro rata basis. So here again, you have to look at the applied is to allotted. The ratio was 3:2. And the defaulter here, Mohit, who was allotted 600 shares, he must have applied for more than 600 shares. So how many shares did he apply for? 600 was allotted, divided by 2, multiplied by 3, you get 900 shares. He had applied for 900 shares. When he applied for 900 shares, he had paid, company had received 900 into 3 rupees, 2,700. But the company will tell that we will sell you only 600 shares. So do the calculation on the point of view of 600 shares. 2700 divided by 600, 4 rupees 50 paisa per share. 3 rupees goes towards application. 1 rupee 50 paisa goes towards allotment money. So at the time of allotment, how much will he pay to the company? Will he pay the full amount? No, he doesn't have to pay the full amount. He has to pay only rupees 3.5 per share, not full 5 rupees per share. He has to pay 600 into 3.5, which is 2100, because out of the 5 rupees total, 1 rupee 50 paisa is already received. If he makes a default, then the default will be of 2100. The journal entry equity share capital account debit on 600 shares till now 8 rupees has been called up, which is 4800 rupees. On these shares, there has been some amount which is received, which will go to share forfeited account, 600 into rupees 4.5, which is rupees 2700. And on these shares, there has been a calls in area, or as you would like to, some of you would like to write, to equity share allotment account, 600 shares into rupees 3.5 each, which is 2100 rupees. So which option is this? Which is the correct option? It is option number C. Let us look at one more question, assertion and reason question, where the question says, in case of shares which are issued on pro rata basis, excess money can be adjusted towards allotment only. This is not true. See, mostly it is adjusted towards allotment, but if the articles of the company permit, then the excess application money can also be adjusted towards calls. So this assertion is not correct. What about the reason? The reason said that interest on calls in advance is to be paid at the rate 12% per annum. That is true. The board of directors are free to choose or to decide the interest, but subject to a maximum of 12% per annum. Reason is correct. This is option number D. So students, if you have liked this video, please write in the comment what kind of videos would you like to see in the future. Also, would you prefer the whiteboard videos instead of such